What is going on, everybody? It's your man, the Crypto Titan. We are going to be doing a weekly recap of what's happening with the price of Bitcoin. Maybe look at XRP for all you XRP lovers out there. Not sure. Just depends on if we get to it or not. And then, of course, we're also going to look at some news updates for the week or previous 2 weeks and really just dive into what's happening in the market. And I'm going to try to do more videos like these for you guys. I think that you would all appreciate having these update videos, so definitely leave me a comment if you guys appreciate content like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out my friend. His name's Brandon, or Posty on Twitter. He's got some awesome analysis. Love it. He's actually going to be working with us at FOMO Hunt, so I want to definitely shout him out on Twitter if you guys want to go follow him at PostyXBT. So his sentiment for Bitcoin right now is not very bullish. He's quite bearish, actually. And he says the last time the 10 MA, which is the 10-day moving average, because he's looking at the 1-day chart, crossed below the 200-day moving average was March 2018. And what happened in March 2018 was pretty much the market tanked, and that was the beginning of the drop to 3.2K. So not a very good look as far as the indicators are concerned. And bulls are still failing to retest 9K, so that is definitely a problem. It's looking pretty bearish. I think people are still overexposed. We're still really far out from the Bitcoin halving. When sentiment is really bullish because of like supply decreasing, demand being the same. Situations like that. So I think we have some ways to go. I don't think we're really at the point where you could really consider this like the start of the bull run. I do think we're in a bull market, but this is not like a very good situation as far as indicators are concerned. However, I mean, TA is just TA. It's not like confirmed, but this is what the indicators are telling us, and this is what it's telling Brandon, and it's why he's feeling pretty bearish. So you can see the 10-day moving average crosses over the 200-day moving average, which is definitely not ideal. Now, the problem is, when you have a big parabolic move like what Bitcoin did throughout April to July, you're going to get reactions like this. That's just normal. People are going to get really, really scared of it. What you have is you pretty much have, you have the profits that are being taken on a big parabolic move like this. And this was not healthy, and it was not going to end well, to be honest. So you're going to have movements like that. Now, if it drops to 7.2K, for example, and we can actually check out the Crypto Dog, another one of my friends. He's a very good analyst. So if you don't follow him on Twitter, definitely give him a follow. He believes that a 7.2K wick would actually make sense. And I can definitely see that, because actually if you check on the weekly, we'll go scroll in a little bit. Let's see. Also, guys, if you did not know, I'm actually in Osaka, Japan right now. Just got here from Seoul, South Korea. So I don't have a lot of my setup like I normally would, but it is all good in the hood. So yeah, we can actually see there are 2 wicks here, or 2 candles that dip down to, these 2 dip down to 7.5. I believe Dog might be looking at a different candle. Now this is also right around 7,000 for the base of this candle, and the top of this one as well. So somewhere in that range, 7.2 to like maybe 7.5 is what I could see. Right. Obviously, right now we are with Bitcoin on Coinbase. We're right around 7.8. So definitely see that being a possibility. Let's check out the monthly candle as well. Let's see how those look. Not good. So the wick of one of these candles here, this is back in June, came all the way down to 7.4, around there, 7.5. So I definitely could see somewhere between 7.2K, 7.4, and then a possible move up from there. That makes more sense to me. I don't think we're going to go down to 6K, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But yeah, again, the Crypto Dog, he is saying that 7.2K seems likely. Now he's looking at BitMEX, which is it's a different, and actually we can pull that up just to show you guys. It's a perpetual swap, but it does give a pretty good indication on the market, either XBT or other like CME futures. Usually that's what I would look at. So let's look at the weekly. 7.2K. That would be well, and actually, if you guys look, there is previous price history around 7.2K back in August. So it's definitely a possibility. We'll see what happens with that. But from 7.2K, I would imagine a good strong move up. If 7.2K breaches, it's all downhill from there. It's not a good sign. So, yeah, it's pretty bearish at the moment. So if you guys are thinking about buying more, honestly, with Bitcoin, the best strategy that I can ever recommend to anybody is like just, you can't worry about the price too much, because if you're looking at the long term, then you won't really be concerned about it anyways. If you've ever seen the long term chart, you would know that this is not something that's just going to go away overnight. Bitcoin is definitely an asset that's here to stay, and so it doesn't really concern me. It's like I kind of look at it like gold, like most people do. So if you look at it like that, it shouldn't scare you at all. In fact, you should be loading up when you can, especially because the asset is under 10K. Anything under 10K to me is a really good decision. I mean, look at this. You can't get a better chart than that. A lot of you guys are like looking at like a couple $1,000 difference for Bitcoin, but you're forgetting that, you're going to have a very high differential and percentage increase from an 8K move to like 100,000. It's a very big difference, rather than worry about like an 8K move to like 7K or 6K or something like that. It's a very big difference. So anyways, we'll go ahead and move on from this. We'll go ahead and look at some news. So the most recent news that I've just pulled up is John McAfee is launching a DEX, apparently. And this is news to me because I had no idea. And I will say, and I was talking about this on Twitter the other day actually, one of the biggest problems with crypto right now is the centralized exchanges pretty much have monopolized the industry. If you have a very good project, very good company, and I'll use Digibyte for example. I think Digibyte is actually a really cool project. I like Jared Tate. I like the whole project in general, just because this is pretty much completely decentralized, which is like very hard to do in crypto. Even though like people love to say, "Oh, we're decentralized," it's actually a lot more difficult than you could ever imagine, because who's at the top, who's taking the pre-mined coins, if there are pre-mined coins, and then who's in control. It's very difficult to actually get decentralized. I think Digibyte comes pretty close to doing that. Now the problem with Digibyte is, of course, they don't have a lot of money for funding for exchanges. So exchanges like Binance, of course, will pretty much strong arm companies like Digibyte to say that, hey, if you don't give us this fee that we're asking for, then we're not going to allow you to come on our platform. So that's pretty much standard within the entire industry. It's not just Binance. It's like it's everybody. So it's a pretty big problem. So I think DEXs are definitely, I don't know if they're the future, but if they were, if we could figure out a way to make DEXs more convenient, more easily accessible for everyday retail investors, then I think that would be amazing. And I think that it would definitely change the game and allow more projects to thrive. Not just the ones that are just collecting money and just scamming people. We don't want that. We obviously would like to actually have progress. So definitely think that DEXs are the future. Now I don't know if John McAfee's DEX is the future. I don't really know who he's doing this with. So know your customer check, so no KYC, no jurisdiction blocks, and the charge will be 0.25% for takers, and it will not charge maker fees, which is actually pretty smart. That's actually really smart. You need volume on your platform to get the retail investors in, and not having a fee for that is actually super smart. So it's also gonna be open sourced. Okay, so this is a really cool piece of news here, because if they can do all these things, it sounds great. If they can do all of these things, then it would be a really, really awesome DEX. However, problem is most of the DEXs, and a lot of people don't know this, most of the DEXs in the industry right now are not actually DEXs. They claim to be DEXs, and they actually have a centralized authority of some sort that's taking in money, like IDEX. IDEX introduced KYC, which makes it not a DEX. It makes it a centralized exchange. So this happens all the time. So if this does actually go through and ends up being a really awesome decentralized exchange, then bravo. But it's going to be very difficult to actually enact something like this. So we'll see what happens with that. Another thing, an ex-federal prosecutor says that the U.S. blocking Libra has national security implications, and so the problem with this is basically with Libra, and I don't particularly like Libra, but here's the problem with this: the government is basically saying, no matter who you are, no matter how big you are, no matter what you want to do with finance, you can never supersede the U.S. government's power, no matter what. And we're just going to just regulate the shit out of you if you do attempt to do that. And that is pretty dangerous, because we've never really been at a point where we could really create our own money. And I feel like because they're basically saying you cannot enact any sort of currency that is not our own. That's like the ex-federal prosecutor says, it's a dangerous precedent, because in the future, if anybody actually wants to create real money, and be able to help people across the world, which is kind of like Facebook's plan, it ain't happening. Unless the government is involved and they have their fingers on the triggers of these different nodes that Facebook is trying to run, then it's not going to go through. It's just not. Also, to this news as well, PayPal actually ditches Libra, says sayonara, we're out of here. This is too difficult for us. We don't want to be associated with Libra anymore. And it's kind of, and I'll be honest, it's kind of surprising that the government hasn't tried to at least get more involved. I would assume that the U.S. government would say something like, okay, we'll let you operate, but we're going to be involved, heavily involved, and control it pretty much. I mean, I could see something like that happen. But with PayPal leaving Libra, that tells me that the U.S. government's not playing ball at all. And they're pretty much saying, yeah, this ain't happening. We're not going to let this happen, which is really bad. Also, Mark Cuban apparently hates Bitcoin, which is really kind of news to me, because I could have swore this dude was doing videos about hey, this is what Bitcoin is. I think Bitcoin's really cool. And now all of a sudden, he's like, yo, Bitcoin is lame. I would rather have bananas, which is very strange. So don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, he says, here's the thing about crypto, particularly Bitcoin. Bitcoin is worth what somebody will pay for it. I'd rather have bananas. I can eat bananas. Crypto, not so much. Now, he says crypto, but here's the problem with this. When you tie in crypto to Bitcoin, you're really not giving it the credit it deserves, because Bitcoin is... so crypto is a little bit different. Crypto is 99% of these cryptos are actually scams. Whether you guys know that or not, it's a fact. I mean, it just is. Most of these cryptos, currencies are big scams. They're just Ponzi schemes, and they're very well hidden Ponzi schemes. Bitcoin, on the other hand, because it has no actual centralized authority, it's a very different type of asset, and it's autonomous, which actually helps it become more valuable. There's nobody, unless you're an early OG Bitcoin investor, even so, if you are, you may have sold at some point, you know, maybe at $4 when you were like banking in from zero, you know, at 1 penny. Everybody's had the opportunity to get into Bitcoin. So when people say, oh, you know, Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme because, like, you know, the people at the top, the people who were there at the beginning, you know, got the chance to rake in the profits. Well, guess what? Right now, you have the chance to buy 8,000 or less than 8,000. And what if it goes to 100,000 or 200,000? Great. You know, you have the opportunity to do this, but people will still say in the future, oh, well, you know, Bitcoin's a Ponzi because I didn't buy in at 7,000. So Mark Cuban I think he's actually invested in Bitcoin. I think that when these people say stuff like this, they really just don't want people to be buying and really want to kill the sentiment for Bitcoin so they can pull in even more. I mean, in fact, the Dallas Mavericks, I think last year, started accepting Bitcoin for payment for the stadium seats. So I don't really take too much. I don't really care like if people say stuff like this, like Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban. You know, whenever they say Bitcoin is, you know, it's crap or rat poison, whatever they want to say, it doesn't really bother me at all, to be honest, because I think there always is an agenda at the end of the day, and it's just, you know, they really don't have any reason to say, oh yeah, I love Bitcoin. You know, why would I do that if I'm buying more? I'm not going to tell you, oh, I love Bitcoin. That makes no sense. So that is pretty much it, guys. I will just, for the XRP people, I'm not really a big fan of XRP, but I know I have a lot of followers that love XRP. So we can just take a quick look and see what's going on with this. It was pretty bearish for a while, and people were kind of freaking out. But as of late, and this seems to be like a relatively decent level for support for XRP. It actually seems to be pretty strong as of late. This is against Bitcoin, of course, because Bitcoin's kind of stagnating. Right now, it's obviously it's dropping in value. XRP is kind of being held up at the moment. Now, whether this is the problem is, you know, in 2 days, on these 2-day wicks or 2-day candles, I mean, you have like massive pumps that look pretty similar. So if there's like money being pumped in to like artificially encourage the price because Bitcoin's dropped, then that would obviously not be ideal, and it could cap out. I mean, could cap out here at this resistance. It's pretty strong actually. Then the next one it could cap out is like around 4,100 sats. So you're looking at like you know, either capping out at 3,380 sats or like 4,100 if this small little bull run slows down. So I wouldn't, if it was me, I wouldn't take a position just assuming that, oh, all of a sudden XRP is just going to start pumping again and it's just going to go to fucking $3 or, you know, however many sats, you know, almost 20,000 sats. It's not realistic, especially because all the partnerships that XRP has gotten or Ripple has gotten have not made a dent really, and then this is kind of just random. So I would not take a position, even if I'm trying to just make a trade until I see something more. So guys, that is pretty much this video. That's the update video for you guys. If you really enjoyed it, if you got a lot out of it, then make sure you go ahead and leave a like on this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well so you never miss any uploads in the future. And so you get notified when I make videos, make sure to click the post notification bell so that you actually get the update. Because YouTube will say, we got this video out here, but we're not going to show it to you. So make sure you do that, guys. And then, of course, if you have not already, go ahead and check out my Twitter at CryptoTitan. And until then, guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace.